Hey everybody, it's Dr. D. So I'm going to be talking about a fun, engaging project that you can do right before this Thanksgiving holiday. And it's going to support you in meeting those ratio and proportion standards. So if you're a middle school math teacher, this is my gift to you. Let's get started. Your students are going to copy of this Google slide deck and they will be able to identify the success criteria for this particular presentation. I've included the math standards. So if you're a sixth grade teacher, you might want to scale this project down a bit. And likewise, if you're eighth grade, bring it up a notch. But this particular project is really going to focus in on seventh grade math standards with an emphasis on proportional relationship, ratios, the constant of proportionality, and getting students to actually write an equation to represent a proportional relationship. So a lot of fun, engaging things that actually have some really strong real world context. So the holiday challenge, the students are going to include no more than 12 people. They're going to start thinking about a holiday party and they'll include a menu and they're going to include lots of ratios to plan for the party. Of course, there's some SEL concepts in here, like what are you grateful for and what gets you excited about the holidays. Students will include their guest list. And yes, they can invite their dog that actually came up today. And then they're going to use these fun little images to set the table. And they're going to write some ratios about their play settings. So these are all images that students can drag and they can make a copy depending on the size of their table. They just can copy the table and they can have several tables depending on how many guests they've included. And then they'll write some ratios about their table and place settings. Of course, there'll be no ratio project without the unit price. So the students are going to compare what is the better deal. And I've included local stores because it makes math more fun when they could think about their local community stores. So students will problem solve and they'll compare. They can write an equivalent ratio to help them problem solve. And then, of course, the unit rate problem, which is to determine the total cost of their turkey. And of course, this ties into how many people they've invited. And once they start plugging in their values using this ratio table, they should be able to identify the constant proportionality and write an equation to represent the price of the turkey and the cost given the number of pounds. All right, and once they've done that, they can get cooking with proportions. This is fun, so I've plugged in some values here, and the students will be able to determine how long it will take to cook their turkey given these two different cooking temperatures and the size of their turkey. So a lot of open-ended tasks, and again, you can include additional scaffolds and support depending on where your students are in this learning progression. Thirsty guest, because what would a party be without some Martinelli apple juice? And the students will have to determine how much juice they will need and how many bottles, as well as the cost, given the number of guests. Another fun activity is students will create their own recipe. And I've included a hyperlink to a Thanksgiving recipe site. And then this is just an example for them. So they could see that I had to multiply my recipe by 3 because I was doing a total of 18 guests. And I will need to increase my servings. And so I had to multiply all of the ingredients by 3. And the students will then do that for their particular recipe. This is always a fun concept, the holiday pie, because students sometimes struggle with dividing fractions. And so this is a great visual, giving them the scenario of you've got 2 pies for the holiday party, determine what fraction you will divide each pie based on the number of guests. Again, connecting that. And this is fun because they get to actually use this line tool and they can slice and dice their pie into different fractional parts. And of course, writing that as a division equation and thinking about the relationship between multiplication and division. And of course, there would be no holiday party complete without a problem based on our family furry friends. So they're going to be writing a complex fraction to determine how many days this 50-pound bag of dog food will feed our furry friend if he eats 2/3 of a cup twice a day. And finally, You cannot have a holiday party without a bit of traveling. So this is a fun activity. I've given them a vehicle, and the cost of per gallon out here in California, it really is $4.50. And they have to determine the total cost of gallons based on the distance of this day trip to San Francisco. And to extend this for those kids that really want to move forward and challenge themselves, they can then create their own day trip using their own vehicle. And I've included a hyperlink here to their to a car vehicle lookup, and then they can pick where they'd like to go. So it's just a fun Thanksgiving ratio and proportions activity. Again, reinforcing those wonderful standards that really come to life and make sense once they're embedded in a real life context. Well, I hope you like this project. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more fun projects. It's the holiday season, so I've got tons of creativity at my digital fingertips ready to share with you. See you next time.